together and go get stockings and glitter and the puffy stuff that you can put on your stockings. Like, get creative and make this a fun activity with the youth who are in your home. I think it's a beautiful way to bond as a family or bond together, even if they've only been in your home for a very short time. It's a beautiful way of getting creative. Creativity for our brain is so important. We need to know that foster parents and the people who are taking care of us, we need to know that they care, that they're gonna take the extra mile, the extra step to like make us feel welcome and wanna do things together. And these are the moments that help heal us. These are the moments that heal them. These are the moments that we get to say, oh my God, I have these people in my life. They do care about me. They've created this for me. They've done this for me. They bought this for me for Christmas gifts or whatever it is. And the holidays isn't always about, you know, Christmas gifts, but for youth in care, these are the things that just like help us feel loved. Whew, I like did not know that I was just gonna go start rambling off on all these things already, so I should get dressed, give me a moment, and then we'll return to some of these strategies that can help your child and teenager that are in your home, who are in foster care, and need love, and need care, and need joy in their life while they're hurting during this time. Because there are things that we can do to make them feel better. So now I'm back. Let me just run through a few things that I had written down. As a child, the holidays was like the best of the best. You know, it's like everything dissipated in terms of the abuse that was happening, and the holidays were good as a young child. And each holiday from being really young changed and shifted as my dad left the family and we didn't have electricity. But then I entered foster care at like 14, which leads me to how you can create a moment of joy, times of love and excitement. Obviously, the activities that really doesn't need to be worth mentioning, you guys are probably doing it, is make cookies, make brownies, Rice Krispie treats, make it a fun activity for the night. Obviously, decorating the tree, letting them, you know, go shopping and find an ornament that represents their life. We really should help the child embrace their identity and the past that they had prior to coming into your home, and the traditional stuff comes to play. Find out what traditions they had prior to coming to your home. I'm sure you've heard this already, so I won't go into crazy detail about that. Another cool thing that you can do with a child or teenager in your home is to document the holidays. Take photos, do some videos, make a scrapbook. There are so many ways you can do this. If you love to do filming and editing, you can make a cool little family video for that child or for that teenager, and they have this memory for life. Like, how amazing is that? Put it on a little USB drive and give it to the child, give it to the teenager. And, you know, maybe you have brought in a child or teenager specifically for the holidays because you didn't want them to be stuck in an office and sleeping in an office or in a group home or bouncing just from emergency placement to emergency placement. And if you don't know what all it is, it means that a child sometimes has nowhere to go for the holidays, has no family to spend the holidays with. And some families take on that responsibility during the holidays. And I appreciate you, I love you, keep doing that. And the other thing is, if it's appropriate, allow them to call their bio parent or an aunt or an uncle or a neighbor or a friend. Allow that space to just give them the opportunity to do that. As some of you guys may know, this all has to be approved by courts and the social workers involved in the case. You know, whenever it's appropriate, let them talk. There's no harm in that. I mean, there can be harm, but you guys are doing what you need to do to like stay on top of that. Two other activities I want to talk about that you can incorporate in the holiday celebrations with your child and teenager is, one, sitting down with them, helping them write a letter to a loved one. Maybe that is their bio parent or an uncle or an aunt or a neighbor or a friend, whoever that person is. You know, bring up that idea, and maybe they want to, maybe they don't, but showing a little bit of love to their loved ones during this time is going to make them want to get excited about the holidays. So do this with children and teenagers who can speak with their parents, but they're not able to spend the holidays with them because of visitation rights. Some are allowed to see them, some aren't. And around the holidays, it's painful, it's emotional. Some people want to be with their bio parents but can't, or are going to at some point, but maybe not. Like, it's so complex. Some youth are not able to actually give these to the parents, but it can also be a healing mechanism of, like, you sit down with your child and say, look, I know you can't give this to so-and-so, but let's do this as a activity for ourselves. What would you want to say? What would you want to maybe do around the holidays? This can give you a look into, like, what they're hoping for or what they're wishing for and missing, and maybe you can, you know, bring that into your holiday celebrations. But this writing letters can be very healing. Sometimes it's, you know, venting on the page, and that's okay. Writing letters and then never sending them is such a healing tool. You could do this with the children and teenagers who are unable to speak with their parents at this time. This is the time where, as caretakers, we extend compassion. Or allowing them to pick out a gift for a loved one. Whatever your finances look like, you know, can you help them find a gift for their biological parents or their parent or a sibling? How can you help give them this level of, like, we care about your bio parents too. We want to help you during this holiday. We would love to help you go shopping and wrap your gift. And you can make this a fun, creative experience and activity. I think sometimes I always bring up my own experiences. There was several times where it was like I wasn't allowed to talk about my bio mom, and I wasn't. When I did, it was like they wanted to bash her or say everything that she did wrong, and all of these things. So if you could incorporate ways for them to share love with their loved ones, I think it's gonna bring healing, it's gonna bring joy. So what I was trying to say there was that children and teenagers, what I wish I had is that my foster parents showed love to also my bio parents. Too often they see the bio parents as this filter of the abuse the child, experienced. And I get that. As an adult now, I get that. But when they come into your home, we have to remember that that was also their family. And to sit and bash them, or to create rumors, or to sit here and get so much anger because of what happened to that parent, like, they're not going to want to talk to you about their parents, about their confusion, about their trauma. If you can't contain your own emotions, or if all you're going to say is, oh, she's a bad parent, or oh, this and that, and so we have to be mindful of that. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. We have to be mindful of that. Another thing you can do is where you create a mood board or a dream board or a vision board. There's so many words for this. Manifestation board. There's so many names for this. You can make it a really fun activity where you tell them this idea, and if they want to do it, you can say, okay, well, let's go to the store. Let's grab some crafts. Let's grab some papers and some pens and some funny glitter and whatever. Like, get creative, get artsy, go to an art store, go to a craft store, find all these cool things, and then you come home and you sit down, you scatter on the table, you get all this excitement going, you might play some music. And two ways you can do a dream board is just to let them think about their future, and they put everything on here. Another way is to do the past, present, future kind of layout, which is you put it into quadrants. And one section is they think about their past and they find photos and things that remind them of the past, and then they also think about the present moment. You know, what are they thankful for? What are they sad and anxious about? What are they worried about? That can go in the middle. And at the end is the future. This is the moment where you can empower them to think about the future, where you can say, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up? Which I know that term is like way cliche and just overdone, but get them to think about who they want to be as an adult, or get them to think about a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, what do they want? Having this open dialogue is going to help you connect, is going to help you create, you know, good communication. Sitting down together, is going to create that community and that love and that joy that a child or teenager needs. But also when you sit down and you talk about your dreams and your hopes and your desires, it creates a forward focused mentality. It helps them begin to dream. I think creativity and dreaming and visualization is so important for our brains, and I really truly do believe that that's what leads us to actually accomplishing the things that we do desire. And I think these are really important pieces for healing. I think this is a really important piece to getting them to realize what they want can be achievable. And the big piece of that is having people who are going to be there for them and say, yes, you can do this. And maybe you take the extra step to help them actually achieve that goal. Maybe it's as simple as helping them getting into college to attain a degree that they want, or whatever the situation is. There are so many ways that you can create a mood board, and one of the best ways you can do this with I almost said child and teenager at the same time. That was weird. One way to create a mood board is using magazines and then letting them just cut it up and find things that resonate with them, with their dreams, with their current life. Do you reach out to friends and family members? Do you have magazines you want to recycle? Get a bunch of magazines, get some scissors, cut it up. It's one of my favorite ways of creating these things. You just find images and words and things that just align with what you're thinking for your mood board. So that's an easy way. Some people like to do it digitally, where they might find pictures on the web or Pinterest and they might print them off and laminate them. Like, there's so many different ways. But if you're wanting something a bit fast, a bit easy, kind of like put these magazines and all these crafts in front of that child or teenager, and let them have a go with it. That would be the easiest way. But I also encourage you to do one yourself. I encourage you to do this with a child, with a teenager. And you can say, look, this isn't just an activity for someone your age. This is an activity adults do too. And if you can create that kind of beautiful communication and say, look, I'm doing this too, maybe they're more apt to do it themselves too. So this is a really fun activity. I love doing this even as an adult, but I think we can bring this activity to children, to teenagers. And if they don't want to do it, they don't want to do it, but you brought it up, you gave them, and you shared the excitement around it. You told them we can go to the store and get this and this and that, and they may want to do it. And it's a fun activity you can do around the holidays, or even the beginning of the year. It could be a New Year's Day celebrative kind of activity. And again, this is where healing happens. This is where the shift of love and care, when they haven't had that in the past, this is where you get to, begin to impact their life. So there you have it, guys. That is the mood board. I hope you like it. If you do this activity, drop it down below. I'd love to hear about it. You can even tag me on Instagram or Facebook if you do this with your child, without showing photos of your child. I'd love to just see the board, and I will repost it and just get so pumped because I love these things, and I think it's a beautiful way to just connect and think about the past, think about the present, and think about the future. So we talked about stockings, we talked about gifts, we've talked about decorating. With all of that, because the holiday time, you know, they are also still grieving. They have experienced a loss. They are in pain. With that, we have to also be mindful of maybe they want some time alone. Maybe they need some time alone. One thing you can do is talk with your child, talk with your teenager, and create specific boundaries around the holidays. And I say boundaries because I'm pulling again from my own experience. There were times where being in their home that it was like, if we weren't appreciative enough, they were mad at us. And sometimes it felt like we had to be like on our hands and knees, like, oh my God, thank you for every little thing that they did for us. I think it just comes down to sometimes it's very hard to express gratitude or be super excited about something when they're in pain, when they're frustrated, when they're confused, when they're scared, when they don't know what their next day may look like or what their next year may look like or what's happening with their own family, what's happening with their parents, what's happening with their siblings. Sure, I probably could have been a bit more grateful, but at the same time, it's just like this convoluted, very complex, like emotional turmoil kind of feeling, because it was like, if I didn't say thank you within like 10 seconds, it was like, oh, well, aren't you gonna say thank you? I didn't know how to react because I didn't know what was happening within my own life. And just because the holidays come around, it doesn't mean that everything else that's been happening prior just fades away and goes away because it's a happy holiday time. We're still dealing with those things, and I think sometimes people forget that. Sometimes during the holiday, it felt like I wasn't allowed to be sad. I wasn't allowed to be emotional or feel the loss that I was experiencing or the grief I was going through. And we have to remember that that is happening for that child. I hope a lot of this stuff is making sense, and I hope that I'm bringing value to you guys. It's not easy talking about these topics. It's not always fun and exciting to remember certain things from my childhood, from my teenage life, being in foster care, trauma, all of that. But I do reflect upon these things to dig apart these memories and bring about these lessons and messages and things that I know would be helpful for other people. I'm doing this in my personal life where I'm digging apart certain memories and remembering the good while also there was bad. And that's part of the work to heal. That's part of the work to know that not everything you experience is bad. There are memories that sometimes are tied together, and you do have to like dissect the crap out of it and like pick it apart and know this was good, this was bad, this was crap, this was okay, this was good, you know? And that's what part of what I'm doing. There has been so many great things that my foster parents did for me and for my siblings, and I will forever be grateful. But there are a lot of things that I didn't appreciate. I knew then was just dysfunctional and abusive, and it was very much aligned with the home I was in prior. And that's what made me shut down. That's what made me, just take a step back and not really connect as much. Set some boundaries with that child or that teenager, in terms of creating like an escape plan. Talk with the child and say, if you start to feel uncomfortable, let's come up with a word or a phrase, and I know that you're needing some time alone. You can go to the back room, or we can leave all together. Whatever that might need to look like. And I know it's not easy to just like pick up and just leave when you're with your family, but these are the times where we have to be a bit more cautious. You could have a conversation with your family and say, look, these times are hard for children in foster care. This can be a teachable moment. This can be an educational moment for other people you are, surrounding yourself with during the holidays. And you can say, hey, if you see this person struggling, maybe chat with them or ask if they need some time alone. You guys can, as a family, help love them and give them space and all those things. Another boundary you can create is that, okay, we're gonna go to this friend's house or to this family member's house for 1 hour. At the 1 hour mark, we're going to leave. Or if someone starts to get drunk, or someone starts to get angry, or someone starts to just not be in their most healthiest self, how can we create a safety/escape plan of like, okay, if these things happen, whatever these things are for you guys, for your child, for your teenager, for your family, if these things happen, we're going to do this. You have conversations prior, you talk about these things, you figure out what the child or the teenager might need, and you create these safety/escape plans. I know that's not easy. I know it's additional work. Some people might be sitting here thinking this and like, well, that's just not part of being a foster parent, or maybe thinking like, I don't need to do that, or I don't care about to do that, but it can really play a role into the child's healing, into the child and teenager's life, in the sense of feeling safe, feeling secure, feeling good in the environment that they're in. You can, talk about the survival mechanisms that these teenagers and children are experiencing. You can talk about the rise in cortisol levels when they're stressed, when they're uncomfortable, and we can play a role as caretakers to level the cortisol levels and bringing their stress levels down and making them feel safe and secure and free and okay. Children and teenagers who are in your home shouldn't have to feel obligated to join all of the family celebrations. We are allowed to say, you know what, this is going to be too overwhelming, and you know what, I think I need some alone time from 3 to 5 p.m. or from the morning. I just need to be by myself so I can reflect, and then I'll join you guys as a family, or whatever it is. Have conversations with your child, have conversations with the teenagers that are in your home, and discuss what is going to be the best for them, while also still joining you guys in your activities, all of those things. I felt so overwhelmed, and I didn't know exactly how to react or act when they got me gifts. Months prior, there were so many elements to me not showing enough appreciation or thankfulness, and I just really struggled with how to show that. And I think I struggle with that as an adult. I think I might be coming to the realization as to why I'm not an overly excited person, or like, I can be spastic, but I'm not. I will just express my gratitude, I will express being thankful, but I don't like jump up and down and get so excited unless it's like something crazy, right? I feel like some time prior to that first holiday with that family, there was this weird wishy-washy time of like, are we gonna return home? Are we going to be adopted? Are they going to adopt us? There were so many elements, and there was like lots of case plan goals, like switching back and forth, and we were trying to figure out if we wanted to be back home with my mom. There was just so much confusion. So I was just overwhelmed with that stuff. So then when the holidays did come around, I was overwhelmed with that, as well as the trauma wound, the family wound, that this just didn't look normal, or I wasn't as excited as everyone else around me was excited, like there was just so many elements. And this is where I wished my foster parents would have set me down and figured out, these escape plans or these safety plans, or having some boundaries set. And there were times where I wish I could have just like stepped away for a moment. One thing I want to say, and I'm a bit apprehensive to say, because some people may see it as absurd or foolish, but it does happen. And that is, as a foster parent, when you have these children and teenagers in your home and it's a holiday season, they are not a prize or a puppet to share and show to your family, to your friends. I felt like that first year I had a little bit of that. It was like everybody in their family knew my business. there were things I would share with my foster parent, and then it was like the aunt or the uncle would mention that. And that hurt. That was like a broken trust. That was like I couldn't exactly trust them with some of this information. If I'm telling someone something, I want that person to know it, not all these other people to know it. I know that's kind of two things, the prize puppet kind of element, but also like, don't share all of this stuff with all of your family members. I really struggled with that. I didn't want everyone to know my business. I didn't share my story with friends until I was like really their friend. We also kind of have to remember that during the holidays, if this child or this teenager is not with their own family, being around other family members is a bit draining, can be a bit draining. It is energy, it is expenditure outpouring to everything and everyone around us. And this again goes to why setting these boundaries or these safety and escape plans is so important. Children and teenagers in foster care are already having high cortisol levels, are already in the survival mechanism of survival, who are already, shutting down emotionally or detaching themselves from making connections and all of these things. And if we can do these minor things, we can help them heal. We can help shift the way they feel about people in the world. These are the moments that help us rebuild the trust in adults, to make us feel safe and okay, and help us know that not all adults are bad people, that not everyone out in the world is out to harm them, is out to hurt them. I hope this was helpful. I hope that this was valuable. If there's anything you'd like to discuss, or if there's any questions or maybe a future topic video, please drop them down in a comment below. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Your support means the world to me. I'm trying to get creative and bring much more to the table here, bring much more to my channel. I'm really excited about where this is going, and I'm really excited. Thank you so much for listening and tuning in, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. What did I just say? Whew, sometimes I just get in it and I'm just like, how do I transition? What happened? Anyway.